First of all, I didn't pick the Browns to win this game. I don't think you picked the Browns to win this game. I don't think Shedeur Sanders played a good game, so we can start that right now. Joe, you got to go. You had a great career. My guy, Joe Bitonio is not a starting level tackle or guard. He has to go. I'm sorry.
Kevin Stefanski coaches this unit. I don't understand how you have a week of practice, a full week of practice every single week, and you come out and do stuff.
And I cannot wait for this season to end because I cannot wait to get myself off of this addiction that we have to watching Kevin Stefanski football teams. I can't do it anymore. I'm at my wit's end, guys. I'm at my wit's end.
The Cleveland Browns just got absolutely demolished, 31-3, in the freezing cold at home against a Chicago Bears team that was supposed to be vulnerable. And the fallout, it's nuclear.
Is this the worst game you've ever seen? Yes or no?
Garrett Bush, one of the most prominent voices in Cleveland sports media, just unleashed absolute hell on head coach Kevin Stefanski. We're not talking about mild criticism here. We're not talking about he needs to do better platitudes. We're talking about a full-scale detonation of everything Stefanski represents as a football coach. This wasn't just another loss. This was a statement game about where the Browns are as an organization. And according to Bush, the answer is clear. They're cooked, they're done, and Kevin Stefanski is the biggest reason why.
Obviously, credit to the Bears. We didn't play well enough, didn't coach well enough today. Got off to a bad start and never were able to get.
Let's break down exactly what went wrong, why Bush is ready to burn it all down, and what this means for the future of Cleveland football. From the opening kickoff, the Browns looked like a team that had already checked out. Chicago returned the kick to midfield. The special teams unit, which has been a disaster all season, set the tone immediately. The Bears marched down the field with ease, looking like the 2013 Broncos offense, while the Browns' defense stood around like traffic cones. On offense, even worse. The very first drive became a microcosm of everything wrong with this organization. Shedeur Sanders came out with the wrong wristband. His helmet communication wasn't working. And what did Kevin Stefanski do? He sent him back in anyway. No timeout, no adjustment, just a 5-yard delay of game penalty that turned 1st and 10 into 1st and 15.
Remember, he has the wrong wristband or his head communication doesn't work. And Kevin Stefanski sends him back in the game. And I'm counting down on the live stream, 10, 9, 8. It's a game where it's cold outside. You're already down 7-0. You need to at least get a first down or something to kind of warm yourself into this football game.
That's coaching malpractice. That's a head coach who either doesn't care or doesn't understand basic game management. You're playing in sub-zero temperatures. Your rookie quarterback is already at a massive disadvantage, and you're going to let him take a penalty rather than call a timeout in the first quarter? It's embarrassing. It's inexcusable, and it's exactly the kind of thing that has defined the Stefanski era. Here's the harsh reality. The Browns' offensive line is one of the worst units in modern NFL history. That's not hyperbole. That's not an emotional overreaction. That's fact. Quinshon Judkins, the rookie running back, had 12 carries for 21 yards. That's 1.8 yards per carry. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage on nearly every single touch. Shedeur Sanders was the team's leading rusher with 24 yards. The entire offense managed 3 points against a defense ranked 27th against the run. But here's the kicker. This isn't new information. Everyone knew the offensive line was terrible. Everyone knew the Browns couldn't block. And yet, when game day arrived, there was no creativity, no scheme to help, no adjustments to mitigate the weakness. Bush didn't hold back on this point. He went after the entire offensive philosophy with surgical precision.
When you watch these other teams, they're multiple in the run game. They can run off tackle, they can run power, they can run stretch, they can run dive, they can run zone, inside zone, outside zone. They do all of these things, right? And the Cleveland Browns look like they hand the ball off to the middle and wait for Judkins to get hit in the backfield.
Compare that to what Ben Johnson is doing in Chicago. The Bears came out with a clear identity. They used play action. They set up crossing routes. They confused the defense with motion and misdirection. They ran power football when they needed to. They looked like a team that had been coached by someone who understands modern offensive football. The Browns? They looked like they were running a playbook from 1985, except without the talent to execute it. This is where Bush really let loose, because at a certain point, you can't keep blaming the players. You can't keep blaming injuries or bad luck or the weather. At some point, the head coach has to take responsibility for the fact that his team is consistently unprepared, undisciplined, and outcoached. Stefanski has been the Browns head coach since 2020. That's 6 years. 6 years of the same problems. 6 years of false starts and delay of game penalties and 12 men on the field. 6 years of watching other teams execute the same plays the Browns run, except better. 6 years of watching talented players regress under his system. Bush brought up a devastating point about Bill Callahan, the former offensive line coach, who left after 2023. Since Callahan departed, the offensive line has completely collapsed. Players who were serviceable under his coaching suddenly can't execute basic blocking assignments. There's no fear, there's no discipline, there's no accountability.
Because when Bill Callahan was here, man, wasn't none of that going on. Like, you knew it was consequences for missing block assignments. You knew it was consequences for not doing what the hell that you're supposed to do. How many times have we heard stories from offensive linemen on this team about how much easier it is throughout the week since Bill Callahan left his team, right?
That's a culture problem. That's a leadership problem. That's a Kevin Stefanski problem. Here's something that should terrify every Browns fan. Over the past 3 years, Andrew Berry's draft classes have been catastrophic. Bush and his co-hosts went through every single pick from 2022, 2023, and 2024. The results are damning. In 3 years of drafts, the Browns have essentially 2 hits, Alex Wright and Martin Emerson, both third-round picks in 2022. That's it. Everyone else has either been cut, traded, or is barely contributing. The 2023 class, Cedric Tillman is inconsistent at best. Everyone else is gone or irrelevant. The 2024 class, Mike Hall Jr. is still a question mark. Zach Zinter can't get on the field. The rest don't even dress on game day.
So in the entirety of the 2023 and 2024 draft classes, they have 0 hits. Now, his 2025 draft is awesome. But over the last 3 years, you have 2 drafts with 0 hits.
You can't build a competitive roster when you're whiffing on entire draft classes. You especially can't build one when you trade away 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson and then fail to hit on any day 2 or day 3 selections. This roster is barren. It lacks depth. It lacks talent, and no amount of coaching can fix that overnight. But here's the thing. Even accounting for the talent deficit, the Browns should be better than this. They shouldn't be getting blown out 31-3 at home. They shouldn't be committing 6 penalties and starting drives from their own 1-yard line. They shouldn't look completely unprepared week after week. Let's talk about the rookie quarterback, because he's going to be at the center of every Browns conversation for the next 3 months. Shedeur Sanders did not play well. 18 of 35, 177 yards, 3 interceptions. One of those picks wasn't his fault, a perfect throw that bounced off Jerry Jeudy, but the other 2 were bad reads. He got baited by disguised coverages. He held the ball too long on several plays. He took 5 sacks. But here's the context that Bush and his co-hosts kept hammering home. What exactly is Sanders supposed to do? He's playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. His top receiver is Jerry Jeudy, who can't catch. He's in a scheme that lacks creativity. He's being coached by a staff that doesn't seem to have answers.
This dude think he had Wingstop. Like, he can just order 4 or 5 flavors at once. Listen to him.
But don't be at Wingstop trying to get. Don't say I want 4 Asian zing. Give me 3 mild, 2 hot. No. It's orders of 6.
The frustration is palpable because everyone watching knows that Sanders has talent. He made 2 incredible deep throws to Isaiah Bond. He showed pocket presence despite constant pressure. He demonstrated arm strength and accuracy on several occasions. But talent alone isn't enough. You need a system. You need coaching. You need support. And right now, Sanders isn't getting any of that. So where do the Browns go from here? Bush and his co-hosts tried to answer that question, and the responses were sobering. 2 to 3 years. That's the optimistic timeline for this team to become a legitimate playoff contender. And that's only if everything goes right. If Shedeur develops, if the draft picks hit, if they find a competent head coach, if they somehow fix the offensive line and add legitimate weapons. That's a lot of ifs. The reality is this organization is stuck. They can't move on from Deshaun Watson's contract. They can't trade for elite talent because they don't have draft capital. They can't develop young players because the coaching staff isn't good enough. And Kevin Stefanski, his days are numbered. Maybe he gets through the end of the season. Maybe he even makes it to next year if ownership is feeling particularly patient. But the clock is ticking. The fan base has turned. The media has turned. And most importantly, the results on the field speak for themselves. The Browns lost 31-3 to the Bears. It was embarrassing. It was pathetic. It was everything wrong with this franchise condensed into 3 hours and 7 minutes of football. Garrett Bush didn't mince words. He called out Stefanski for his game management failures. He called out the offensive line for being unable to execute basic blocking schemes. He called out the front office for years of draft mistakes. He called out the entire organization for being unprepared and undisciplined. And you know what? He's absolutely right. This isn't about one bad game. This isn't about one rookie quarterback struggling in the cold. This is about a franchise that has lost its way, a franchise that has no identity, no direction, and no plan for the future. The Kevin Stefanski era needs to end. Not because he's a bad person, not because he doesn't care, but because his voice has run dry, because change is necessary, because the Cleveland Browns deserve better than what they've gotten over the past 6 years. 31-3. That's not just a score, that's a statement. And the statement is clear. This team is broken, from the top down. The only question now is whether ownership has the courage to do something about it.